What's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a great day. I don't normally make content of this nature. I mean, I've made videos in a similar vein to this, but not like about this specific topic. Um if this is not I mean, I understand if this is not what you subscribe to this channel for. So, if you want to act like an infantile fucking child about it and unsubscribe, leave a hateful comment. Feel free. It's a free country, and I'll deal with you accordingly. But it's funny because I've seen a couple of YouTubers that have. It's funny because these couple of YouTubers I've seen are completely different genres, but they've all recently uploaded a video tackling depression and whatnot. And I just thought that kind of inspired me to kind of give my personal experience and how I deal with it. And let me give a disclaimer. Speaking of how I deal with it, is that this is not advice on how to deal with depression. I would never advise anybody deal with depression the way I do it. Never. I probably deal with it in the most unhealthy fashion imaginable because let's face it, I'm a stubborn motherfucker and I don't like to ask for help. I never have been that person that likes to ask for help. I'm somebody that likes to do everything himself, and I'm trying to get it through my thick head that I can't do everything myself. I have a very, very, very thick head. Um, but my personal experience with depression, it's been kind of a long story. I mean, I think a lot of it stems from I had a relationship for the last 4 years, and like let me go ahead and just straight up admit here, I wasn't a fucking saint. I wasn't the second coming of Christ in this relationship. Um, However, I do feel like I am kind of a victim in a way. Um, I know I probably just made a if there's a certain somebody watching, I'm sure that's a very controversial fucking statement. I don't really care either. I don't really care what they think. Um, a lot of mental conditioning over the last 4 years of my life, and it even goes back further, back to maybe when I was like in fucking school. That dreadful fucking wretched Bastille fucking I hated school. I hated school. I have never. I think that's really when my depression really started to get triggered when I was in school. It's just I don't know what it was with the teachers in my fucking school. And about 95% of them were absolute fucking dirtbags. Absolute fucking dirtbags. Uh, Never had anything positive to say about me. Um, Never had anything positive to say to me. Nothing to ever inspire me to try hard. Always dragging me down, making me feel inadequate, making me feel like I don't belong here. I didn't belong in the same school as the fucking big brutish football players and the fucking slender fucking basketball and baseball players, and I'm not trying to it's just I kind of feel like that's when this inferiority complex was implanted in my fucking brain, just constantly being browbeat. I'd struggle, and the thing is that I didn't struggle a whole lot in school. The only thing I ever really struggled with in school was math. I was great at history. Like, I'd bring home fucking report cards. I'd get like A's in social studies, A's and B's in science, A's and B's in English, F's in fucking math. I'm terrible at math. Um, I have never in my life felt so inadequate sitting in a fucking math class and having a teacher browbeat me in front of an entire fucking class, telling me that I'm fucking worthless and that I've actually been told that by teachers. I'm not embellishing. I'm actually this not I'm not sensationalizing it either. I'm actually telling you specifically what was said. Um, I'm worthless. I'm never going to go anywhere in my life. There's no hope for me. And imagine just being told that every day for 10 plus years. That is not good for the human brain. Um, that type of negative energy is unhealthy for the human brain. It's scientifically proven. Of course, I know a lot of you fucking religious nuts out there like to fucking argue against science and science is evil and it's the tool of the devil. Um, that's fine. Um, the last I checked, in science labs, there's not little children being fucking molested by Catholic priests. But that's for another video. Um, just the hypocrisy of fucking Christianity, and which I'm not trying to get into that, but that's a part. That's probably part of my fucking problem too. But that we'll get into that in a minute. Just constantly. There's like no positivity. Um, there'd be times where I'd be scared to fucking come home on report card day because I'm looking at a report card right now. Everything's fucking great except math. So what would I do when I got off the fucking school bus? Man, I'd walk around the fucking neighborhood. I just wouldn't. I just didn't want to go home. And then when I finally had to go home, more and more and more and more negativity. Um, just it never fucking. And I'm not trying to say that my home life was bad. It wasn't. It's just when I retroactively think back on how a lot of stuff was handled, I think if I were handling that situation, I probably would have handled things a lot differently. I probably wouldn't have been as volatile and hostile as that experience was for me. Um, it was just like that for many, many, many years in my life. Constantly, no positivity, no let up, always being made to feel like I'm inadequate. And that's carried over into my adult years, unfortunately. And I've tried to see counselors. I had one really good counselor, one really good one that I thought was actually helping me, and then I can't get upset with him for this, but he decided that, he didn't want to do counseling anymore and wanted to go try something else. So I was kind of left fucking yeah. I tried to find I tried to find another I sat through like another five counselors. None of them were helpful. And I did go to more than one session. I went to about five or six different ones. And the difference between my great counselor that I had for about a good solid year and a half, almost 2 years, the difference I felt walking into his office versus all the other therapists or fucking therapists, counselors, offices that I walked into is that when I walked into this specific counselor's office, I didn't ever feel like a fucking dollar sign was going cha-ching over my fucking head. I felt like that guy genuinely wanted to help me, and he was. And it's just unfortunate that he didn't want to do counseling anymore. I get it. I'm not mad about it. I was a little disappointed. Or I was sad. I was sad. It's like, what does this mean for my mental health? And then I went into several different counselors' uh, offices, and as soon as I walk in, cha-ching, cha-ching, because that's all you are is a dollar sign to them, for the most part. People are blowing up my messages, and they need to stop doing that. It's just that was helping my depression for a while, and then I got sucked right back into it, and then as another unfortunate event, the disbanding of my family. Um, it's easier to that kind of stuff is easier to deal with when you're younger because then you grow accustomed to it and whatnot. When you're 17 years old, it's a lot to fucking take in. Um, and all of this was going on. I actually fucking started this channel to get my mind off all that shit. Um, this is the part I'm dreading getting into. The part I'm absolutely just dreading getting into. Um, the day I found out that this happened, a good friend of mine called me up. Um, Took me to the bowling alley and fucking just sat there and talked with me because I didn't really, at the time, I didn't really know what the fuck was going on. I came home and the atmosphere was fucking, it was so tense. It was so thick with tension. You could cut it with a fucking knife. I'm taking a sip of water because I'm running my cocksucker a lot here, and I definitely need to drink some water. So, that's always tough when you're of that age. Like it's tough when it's little kids and whatnot as well, but when you're 17, 18 years old, it's a lot to fucking it's a lot to take in. And I remember I would just lay at night trying to trying to remember certain things and compartmentalize those things and try to dissect, what happened, like what happened, what caused this to happen, yeah, that type of stuff. That's how my mind works. It's just my mind never stops thinking. I'm always thinking. That's probably part of my problem too. So we have this built on this fucking big giant inferiority complex in me. And I still have a really bad inferiority complex. I still have this feeling of I'm never going to be good enough for any woman. I am not an attractive man, and I don't claim to be. I'm not one. I mean, I'm not really the most attractive man in the world, and I understand that. Um, but that's not really as much of my problem is just thinking I'm not going to be good enough. I'm never going to meet a or I won't say never going to meet a woman because, I've met a really nice woman in my life and I hope I don't fuck it up. Um, a very, very nice one who she's actually fucking tuned in to some of my streams and you've probably seen her in my comments. She has been just an absolute tremendous fucking help lately. An absolutely tremendous help. Um, and yeah, that's that. Then, at this point, I'm running this channel. I am 18. I'm, in the best shape of my fucking life. I'm living at the fucking gym. I'm practically living there. Um, and I don't think I'd ever experimented with any drugs at that point. I think I'd smoked some pot at that. I don't fucking remember, but then I start getting involved in all of the Facebook groups, the killer flicks and shit like that, and that is where my life fucking took a big 180. Because, see, I'm not gonna name names, but I got in a relationship with somebody that was in the killer flicks Facebook groups, and that was like my first like real relationship, like my first real one. And there was a bit of an age difference. Me being 18, this other individual being significantly older, um, by like 8, 9 years, something like fuck. I can't even be asked to remember. That's how insignificant this person is to me now. Um, we had a relationship. It was not a healthy one at all. Not a healthy one whatsoever. And of course, to that person and their entire side, all of that's blamed on me. All of it is blamed on me. And I'm going to admit, I was no fucking saint, okay? I did and said a lot of fucking shit that, really, to be truthful, wasn't me. And for whatever reason, this relationship brought out the fucking devil in me sometimes. Um, but with that being said, I don't feel like I was always 100% in the wrong. And see, I believed that for so long. I woke up every morning while I was in this relationship, like, what are we going to fight about today? Like, what is going to be said today that pisses me off? What's going to be said tomorrow that's going to piss me off? I'm already angry. I'm already miserable. I have just fucking had a lot of hurtful things said to me, and I've said hurtful things too. Um, and like I said, the way I see it, is that the person I was with for 4 years had this. I have an inferiority complex. They had a superiority complex. That's like oil and water. That is like oil and water. This individual, I guess, she was kind of she thought she I think she thought she was above where she actually was. So this individual was going to university. Um, all I ever really saw was just them sitting in front of a computer screen. Which I mean, I guess that's how you do the fucking university. I don't know. I don't fucking know about all that. I probably shouldn't have even made that comment. But that's the bitter side in me coming out. I am very bitter about a lot of things. Um, I guess this person decided that they would take it upon themselves and um, diagnose me with it was something different. It was something different every fucking month. Like the first bit it was bipolar. I was bipolar, and then I was schizophrenic, and then I was this, and I was that, and finally she fucking just got me to the point where I'll show you where I'm constantly shoveling this shit down my fucking throat every night. And what this is, it's a prescribed medicine. It's what is it? It's fucking Seroquel. That's not the medical name for it. It starts with a Q, and I'm not going to pronounce it because I'm sure I'll probably butcher it. I'm not a doctor. Neither is she, but apparently she thinks she is, and apparently she thinks she's a lawyer, and she's a police officer, and she's, fucking. Uh, like I said, this is the bitter side in me coming out. This is the bitter side in me coming out. Um, so I've been shoveling this shit down my throat for about 2.5, 3 years now. Has it helped? Kind of, but I wasn't really allowed to believe that it was kind of helping because um, my explosive anger didn't go away. Now, partially when you're trying to deal with explosive anger is that instigating somebody and belittling them and bitching them out constantly and constantly and constantly is not conducive to helping explosive anger. Um, and I never really had a problem with explosive anger in the past. It wasn't until I met her. That's the funny thing is it wasn't until I met her. Um, like there was times in my life before where I'd been angry, sure. I'd been angry, I'd yelled, I'd been in fist fights. Almost everybody's taken part in that. But the explosive, I'd go from 1 to 100, just like that. It wasn't until I fucking met her, and there are a lot of people that could fucking vouch for me. Um, I know I'm saying a lot because I didn't come with a script here, so I apologize. Uh, Yeah, that's kind of when my I think IED was another one. It was just she was just always diagnosing me with something. The whole entire relationship, I might as well just fucking been sat on a couch and she'd been sent in a fucking armchair, fucking with a fucking clipboard. Like that was almost like the fucking relationship. It was just very, very, very daunting and I hated it, and I would never go back to it if I was paid. If I was paid all the money in the world to go back to it, I wouldn't, because honestly, my sanity is more important than money to me at this point in my life. Um, I was working some shitty jobs too. I got sucked into one where I was at for like 2.5 years. That was just the most grating, mentally draining thing because it was essentially I was working with a bunch of grown adults who were they were essentially grown teenagers. And the one positive I came out of that job is I met one of my best fucking friends there. That is the one positive to had been there. Um, and he's actually been here on my streams. You've probably seen him before as well. Very, very good friend. Very good friend of mine. Nothing I wouldn't do for that guy. Who's also been a very good help for this couple waves of depression. Um, but yeah, no, I just kind of felt like the 4 years, and a lot of the shit that I think I got sucked into this relationship. Me being an 18-year-old, them being like a 25-year-old, 26-year-old at the time. This was my first relationship, so there was a lot of things that relationship wise, was not well versed on. I was clueless on a lot of stuff. It was just not a good start to my relationship life. I guess I don't know how you want to phrase that, but just a lot of. And then see, this is where I was in the wrong a lot of the time. I should never have been in that relationship ever. Um, I, however, feel like I was taken advantage of a lot of the time because they did live in a separate country, or they do live in a separate country still. I kind of feel like I was kind of a way out of there instead of an actual like love interest, and that always fucked with my head. Um, Always fucked with my head, and that woman is just good at fucking with people's heads. Um, and I'm sure of it. I'm not the only fucking guy that's happened to, as far as her. Um, it's so now I'm at this point in my life where I would rather have just fucking collapsed and died while at work rather than go home and because most of my time was spent on the computer getting bitched at as it was anyway. Getting bitched at, berated. It's like I got tickets to a concert. Well, I'm a selfish piece of shit. I bought a fucking video game. I'm a selfish piece of shit. You don't ever buy me anything, which was far from the truth. Far from the truth. And the funniest thing about it is that I always found myself apologizing for a lot of things that I don't really feel like I was even in the wrong for. A lot of things I was in the wrong for. You know, um, because I am a normal person, and the other party, you want to go into this whole fucking diagnosing thing. They're a straight up narcissist, a straight up narcissist. Because it's funny, they say about narcissists that narcissists in their own stories are either the hero or the victim, but they're never the villain of their own stories. That was totally the case. I don't think I've ever had one sincere apology in that relationship. One sincere apology. Um, I would have said I didn't get one apology at all, but that's not true. An apology is I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry I didn't know you felt this way. Not well. I'm sorry. Or no, 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 no. Let me phrase it exactly. Well, sorry, but you, blah, 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 you are this, you're an abuser. You're blah, 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 blah. Just that's not an apology, and that's why I think the fucking anger in me just kept building and building and building and building because it just never felt like I was doing anything right. And there was a lot of things I was doing right. But it got to a point as well where I just didn't fucking care anymore about this woman. Like so many times, like I had never cheated. And I don't like cheating, but goddamn if were there not times where I fucking wanted to just to fucking end it. But I didn't. I didn't because that's not right. I've had opportunities and I didn't. Of course, that's not who I. Or, what I don't even remember what I was saying. Yeah, and I think going forward in my life, this miserable, miserable, miserable 4 years of my life, where I was drinking a lot. Like I'd go into work drunk. At my last job, I would go in there fucking drunk off my ass, and most people would never even noticed. They couldn't smell it on me or anything like that. Or I'd go in fucking stoned too. Of course, I can handle all that stuff really well as it is. Of course, then I used to abuse substances as well. I'm far removed from that. Um, that got to a point where the substances were more of like a numbing tool than anything really. And that's not I'm not afraid to come on here and admit it. This is my personal experience. This is raw. This is straight. This is I'm fucking doing some straight shooting here. Um, I'm being real. And you know what? I'm acknowledging that I'm not a perfect person. And you know what? I've done a lot of shitty things in my life. I wouldn't even go as far. I would go as far as saying I may not even really be a good person. Um, it's just that going forward in my life, like, do I find the one for me, or I've been working on myself a lot. I've been getting back in the gym. I've been fucking trying to take better care of myself, not drink as much, not abuse substances, not get involved with bad people. I was kind of getting around some really bad people too, a lot of really bad people, and they have all been cut out of my life. I've severed all ties with those people. And the shameful thing about it is that I had a good friend here online. I'm not gonna say who it is. Um, it's actually somebody I'd been friends with here on for a while. Um, I needed a friend more than anything, and I guess this person had their own things going on, so severing ties with me. This was all on them too, which I had tried to. I throughout the years I had tried to be there for that individual. Um, so I was trying to I tried to be there for that individual as much as I could, and I kind of don't really feel like I kind of felt like that was just very disrespectful to me, a very that was a slap in the face to me, and the person actually used to show up on my channel. He's actually been a guest in one of my videos years and years ago. There's no mention of them going forward on this channel. I was half fucking tempted to delete anything that had to do with them, whether it had been my intro or that one video. But I'm like, no, I'm not gonna selfishly do that because I'm taking away from my view count and whatnot. So we're not gonna do that. Um, but that did hurt. It did hurt. But I did get kind of sour about it, and I'm not sour about it now. And the thing is that this specific individual as well, if they were to fucking shoot me a message, I don't know how I would respond. Um, I would either respond with, hey, how you doing? And then that'd be kind of it. Um, it's not somebody I would ever want to see starving, but I do know for a fact that they can't sit at my table. Um, I wouldn't let them starve, but they can't sit at my table. And that's kind of how it would be. No, actually, to hell with her. Hell with her. I was trying to preach morality there, and then I kind of just pissed it all into the wind because I am kind of a fucking piece of shit, antagonistic. I was always told that if I was a wrestler, I'd be a good heel, which that was one of my dreams that got crushed by constantly being told that I'm not ever gonna amount to anything. So, what do I have going for me now that's helping? Kind of reach the latter half of the or latter portion of this video. The later portion of this video. Fucking, what the hell's wrong with me? Um, well, I've got Exaltified. We're having some issues getting everybody because work schedules and whatnot, and I don't hold that against anybody in the band. Um, we've got 6 songs. We're ready to record an EP. It's just we're getting everything. We want to get everything set up, and we're gonna get music out soon. And I know there's a couple of you that are like itching to hear it in its purest form, and you will. I promise you. Um, it's coming. It's coming. But I have good friends in my life. I have a woman who I really, really like a lot. Um, and like I said, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but you've probably seen her commenting on my streams. Um, she's just been an absolute. I just like words can't even describe how great she's been. And same with my friends, my two best friends. They've been absolutely great, absolutely phenomenal, and I couldn't ask for a better group of people in my life. I mean, I wouldn't trade any of them for anything. Bandmates, friends, this really special woman that I see a lot of potential in, and that I think is good enough for me. The band, I see a lot of potential in that, and I think that I don't have it bad right now, but there are some things that could be better in my life. There are definitely are some things that could be better. Um, it's just, I guess it's all on me really to not fuck everything up. It's definitely on me to not fuck everything up actually. And that's kind of thing as I am a little bit of a fuck up. I have fucked up a lot of things in my life, and I guess I've grown from that. I'm not saying I've grown as a person and I'm the second coming of Christ. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that like I'm growing and I'm learning every fucking day. Every day is a learning experience for me. And most days it's a negative learning experience. And that's kind of where it kind of that's where the depression kind of creeps its way back in because then I start feeling like man everything's going to shit, this and that. And then I just fucking get in this rut. I just get in this absolute rut. And it's just all the mental conditioning. Like, I'm so scared, like with this woman that I've been talking to. I'm so fucking scared that like the way my mind has been conditioned from my last relationship. I'm so fucking scared to death because I see nothing but fucking potential with this woman. Like I see nothing negative about her. Um, I feel like the way my mind's been conditioned, I'm gonna end up fucking everything up by being insecure, by always constantly needing reassurance. And I know that that will go away with time. It just won't. It won't be overnight. I'm not gonna be not needing reassurance tomorrow when I wake up. It's not gonna happen like that. And if it does, I will be the first to let everybody know if that fucking happens. So, um, it's not gonna fucking happen though. So, uh, and like I said, if it does, it does. But I'm constantly in fear I'm gonna fuck that up. I'm constantly in fear that I'm gonna fuck that up, and that's where the fucking depression. How I've not fucking been active here for almost a fucking month. Like that's where the fucking depression creeps in is I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna fuck up something good. I'm gonna fuck up something good, but it's almost like this impulsive like I need reassurance that nothing is, you know, this is not just too good to be true. So that's kind of where I'm at is that I feel like this is too good to be true. My friendship's too good to be true. My band too good to be true. And playing with Exaltified, just playing in my garage is some of the most fun that I've ever had in my life. And I can't imagine what live performances and whatnot are going to be. And I would say recording, but I know recording's a pain in the ass, so I'm not going to fucking throw that out there. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But that's really all I had for you guys. It was a half hour of me, my experiences of depression and mental conditioning, and maybe I should see a counselor. It's just the problem with that is that like I've just like I had such a great experience with one counselor that it's so hard for me to open up to anybody else. Oh, and speaking of, there was one that I was actually liking as well. It was a female. I was in my last relationship. I was told I wasn't allowed to see them anymore because of something that was said. It was fucking because I was talking about some things that really, to be honest, it wasn't any of her business. But I was expected when I came out of counseling to walk out with a fucking report of everything that I talked about, and I had to list everything off of what I spoke about. And I mentioned something, and she fucking flew off the handle. I wasn't allowed to see her. I was fucking my counselor because I was seeing a female counselor at that time. I was fucking her apparently, and yeah. So that was the only other counselor that I felt was actually doing me some good. You know. So maybe it's time that I go sit through a few sessions with some different people and see who helps me the most. But then that's that part of me that's just like I don't need help. That's like I said, that is always how I've been. That is always how I've been. I've always been the type that just never asks for help. It's like when I'm at work and I'm fucking picking these big fucking grills up and throwing them over my fucking head. And I got a lot of body strength too. Like that's one thing that's one thing about me is I am fucking really fucking strong. And I'm picking up like boxes of fucking like 5 burner grills that aren't put together, and I'm just like fucking launching them. And of course, people is like, "Hey, you need some help picking that up?" I'm like, "Nah, fucking, I don't need help." And then there's like really, really, really big fucking boxes I have to deal with that I probably shouldn't be picking up on my own, and that they'll say, "Hey, let me hand you a hand." I'm like, "No," and I'll be fucking and throw it up over my fucking shoulder. And it's not good for me, and that's probably why I'm in physical pain all the time. But I'm just the type that's just I've always been like that. I've never liked asking for help. I don't know if it's I'll tell you what it is. Because of my I think what it is, it's my inferiority complex that I'm always going out everywhere with something to prove. Prove that I am good enough, prove that I am better than everybody else fucking around me. And I think what that is just years and years and years of this inferiority complex tormenting my fucking brain, making me feel inadequate, that I have to prove something, or my life's never going to amount to anything. But yeah, that's really what I got for you guys. Probably not what you guys were ever expecting out of me, as you guys always expect, funny videos and movie related stuff, and rants, yada yada. It's kind of different for me to actually sit here and open up to you guys. And when I say you guys, I'm talking about, my subscribers that actually care about me, friends that I've made here on YouTube, great people. You know who you are. Friends that I've made here, just absolutely great people. Great, great, great people. Like I said, you know who you are. So that's really what I got for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get off here. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And I'm out. Peace.